Welcome back, everyone. We are on day number 4. Today we are going to pipe the pâte à choux. The dough has been resting all night and relaxing and developing flavor. So now let's pipe some rings, which again represents a bicycle wheel. I have made myself a little stencil by using my baking rings. Kind of went and measured with a ruler. I wanted to bake pretty even. What I'm going to do is turn this upside down so we don't get no Sharpie on the pastry. And then I have my crushed almonds, fruity pebbles, powdered sugar. I have my piping bag, all of my tools and ingredients ready to go. I'm going to show you 2 different ways to fill a piping bag. First, let's unwrap this. Yeah, I'm going to kind of keep this right here so you can keep half of it hydrated. Alright, so I have my piping bag. I can do this with my hand by like wrapping it over your hand. My spatula. Get a good little drop and then scrape that in using your hand as like a holder. I don't know how to describe it, but we just make like a little C shape. And the piping bag kind of rests on it. But we could also, if you wanted, use this cup or any type of like measuring cup or something. It does the same thing. And we're going to take some, use the side of the cup as a wall, scrape it in, and mess free. Then use a little cake scraper, push everything to the top. Now, I have these like silicone pastry bags and they're hard to stay closed. So I have like a little tie to tie it up and keep it sealed. And I don't go through a lot of pastry bags. When I make pâte à choux every week, you tend to go through a lot of pastry bags. Okay, so I'm going to take the pâte à choux and dab each of these corners. It's going to work like glue to keep our parchment paper down. Covered. And what I do is I start on the inside ring. So I kind of have it at like almost a 45-degree angle, and it's just kind of falling in its place. Do it again. Start inside. Letting it just kind of fall. Let's get a close-up. Again, we are going to pipe inside of the ring, letting it kind of fall in its place at a 45-degree angle, holding. And kind of like just pull back. Now that my inner circle rings have been piped, I'm going to turn around my sheet pan and start on the outer ring. But before I do that, let's refill our piping bag. Again, make like a little C shape and tuck your hand underneath it, underneath the piping bag. Scrape it against your hand. Get another one. Keep going. Okay. Cover that back up to prevent it from drying out. Also, we can kind of smack this on the table to knock out any of the air pockets. Now we're going to do the outer circle, the outer ring. And the reason why I turned it around is so it can kind of like, you see how we ended right there and it has that little mark? Before I would just do it all on one side. I would keep it this way and I would pipe, and so you'd be left with a big like indent on one side of the Paris-Brest. Now it's pretty even doing it this way. So now we're gonna do just like we did on the inner ring, but go on the outside. Let it drop, do its thing. Push down and then pull up. Push in, pull up. Using my left hand to guide, let's make another ring on the outside. The reason why I pipe the inside ring first, when I learned how to do this, it was pipe a ring and then pipe a ring inside. I found I can really get it just a better shape. It's easier to pipe the inner ring and then the outer ring versus piping the outer ring and then trying to get the inner ring, in my opinion. Now it's time to pipe the final ring on the top. We're making sure that this is connected to both of the other rings. Now I'm going to turn the tray around to the other side. And working my way down, I'm going to pipe the third and final ring. Making sure to keep contact with both of the rings. Okay, now that we have piped the outer ring, the inner ring, and the top ring, it's time to go to the next step. Next step, we're going to dust this with powdered sugar. The powdered sugar is going to help with texture. It's going to give it like a slight crisp texture. Also going to help with color. We don't have to brush it with egg white because we're using powdered sugar. Just get a little. And we're going to next, you just add in these crushed almonds. I'm going to turn the tray around. That way I get all of this side because I'm going to add it. I'm adding the almonds from one angle, and so this has a lot. Now just even it out. And we are finished. So we could for sure bake these right now, but again, I want to bake them fresh so we keep that integrity of the pastry, and it's better baked or served on the day of, baked and served of the day of. But you could definitely bake these, and then if you needed to like freeze them or something, as long as you don't cut them in half, the pastry is good for at least 3 months in the freezer, But now we're gonna wrap them up, and then tomorrow I'll get here bright and early at 6 a.m. and we'll bake them together. So bye for now. Welcome back, everyone. We're on day number 5 and we are finally ready to get these babies in the oven. Okay. I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees. I'm gonna bake them between 40 to 45 minutes, and I'll check them on that 45-minute mark. So let's go ahead and unwrap them. They look so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go put these in the oven. I'll be right back. All right, we have them in the oven. It is important to not open the door for at least 20 minutes. Okay, so my Paris-Brest are in the oven. They're baking. Again, it is important to keep the oven shut for at least 20 minutes. I recommend keeping it shut until at least 40 minutes, just to be on the safe side. What happens if you open the oven early and they're not fully baked, they'll start to deflate, and there's just no coming back from that. I've got my mixer, my heat gun, my bowl, paddle attachment, and whisk attachment, and a spoon, and a rubber spatula. So, again, you could let this come to room temperature if you have the time, set it out, and it will be fine. However, if you're in a crunch time and you really need it, I want to show you how to do it the fast way, or just speed up the process. So just like a buttercream, because of all the butter in this, it is like hard. And you have to have a heat gun if you want to do this. There's something to warm up the bowl. If you had a torch, you could warm up the bowl that way, but I found a heat gun works the best. I think I got this from Walmart for like 25 bucks, if that. Best investment ever. Okay, so I'm going to just grab some, start putting it in the mixer. See how it's just clumping apart. And as it's mixing, just turn the heat gun on, let it go, let it do its thing. It's gonna look very broken at first. That's just because the butter is cold. So, I'll show you what it looks. Right now, it's still kind of like broken. But we're getting there. Super easy. In fact, I'm going to scrape down a little before I start again. And we look pretty good. I'm going to scrape the sides down again. Let's see how it's like way more just creamy and smooth, like a buttercream should be. Now, set this right here. Switch to my whisk attachment. And we are good to go. It is nice, creamy, hypeable, just like we first made it. Keep it at room temperature until it's ready to be used. We want to make sure plastic wrap is touching the skin so it doesn't develop a little like crusty skin thingy. That's the term I'm looking for. And yeah, I'm going to go and stick this right in there. voila. We are now ready with our mousseline, and we're just waiting for the Paris-Brest shells to finish. So this took less than 40 minutes to do because I had that set for 45 minutes. So not long. Again, you could just like let it sit and come to room temperature. But if you're in a pinch, you now know how to speed up the process. Okay, nice, even, brown, crisp on the outside. Woo, pretty hot. So we do not want to slice these open right now because all of that steam is still inside of the Paris-Brest. So we want to let it cool for about 20 minutes, and then we'll slice them in half and peel them to let it cool a little bit faster. Let that steam kind of get out evenly. And this right here, I don't just toss this and throw it away. I get my scraper. These are perfectly good toasted almonds and Fruity Pebbles. And so you can use them as a garnish. For ice cream, if you're working on like a plated dessert, you can use them as a crunch component. You have perfectly good garnishes. These should be good to cut open and start to fill. I have my bread knife and literally, I just hold them like that in place and slice it in half. And you can see it's hollow inside. I put them right back and I do the next one. And then this is the other filling or topping garnishes, you know what I mean. Okay, now that they're cut, it's time to fill them. They are all have been cut in half, and I'm going to work 6 at a time. And so I have my pastry, well, my mousseline. Again, make like a little C shape with your hand. Bring that pastry back over. Before I fill it with the Fruity Pebble mousseline, I just have this chantilly cream that I don't want to like just not use it. And so I'm going to like a little. Just to get a little contrast flavor, you know. We'll pipe. Right over it, a little circle. I go and like I do a little circular motion all the way around. Or I top them. And add more crushed fruity pebbles. This is gonna give it a really cool like texture contrast with the cream. Just to give it some height, I put a little cream on top, outlining the little hole. Voila. Fruity Pebble Paris-Brest. But we're not finished. Not just yet. So people think these are heavy just because I get like, are these a bagel? No, they're not a bagel. They're so much lighter than a bagel. It's hollow, the cream's airy, and so it's like all air. Okay. Voila. Now that the Paris-Brest have all been filled, we have one more thing to do. My personal favorite, dusting it with powdered sugar. This is going to make them pop. Like, people will see them across the courtyard we have and ask, what are these? What are those? What are those? So, just put a little in your sifter, go around like so. And there you have it. We have the beautiful Fruity Pebble Paris-Brest. These are best served now at room temperature. If you store them in the refrigerator, that filling, the butter or the mousseline will harden up. So you'll want to like bring it back to room temperature. So it's okay if you put them in the refrigerator, just make sure you bring them back to room temperature. That's the best texture. But now I walk them across the street and I literally plate them and I walk around to table and I introduce myself as a pastry chef for Hill Station, and today's brunch special going to be the Fruity Pebble Paris-Brest. So I hope you guys learned something, and thank you for joining me on this amazing first YouTube journey. Again, thank you to my instructor for kind of like pushing me in this direction to get this done, and I cannot wait to see where this takes off. Until next time.